This review contains spoilers for the 2021 film The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. I went into this movie with pretty low expectations because the first Suicide Squad I was very excited about, and it totally let me down. I don't think it's the worst movie ever made, but it's definitely not a good movie. And this new Suicide Squad is better in every way. That said, I never read the Suicide Squad comics. Harley Quinn I know from the animated series, and the rest of the characters in this are all new to me. So I don't know how accurate they are to the comic, and I don't really care. Because to me, any movie, including comic book movies, should be able to just work on their own without having to have a prior knowledge of things. The movie starts out with Michael Rooker's Savant character, and it focuses so much on him that when that first Suicide Squad group lands on the island, it came as a complete surprise to me that they all die. And I really liked that. When I go into a movie, I don't like knowing what's going to happen. I didn't expect Pete Davidson to die, or TDK, and especially not Boomerang. Very surprising, and it sets up an unpredictability with the rest of the movie, and I thought that was excellent. I really liked all the jokes in this. This is a comedy movie above anything else. The action is just a bonus, and it made me genuinely laugh many times. Not all the jokes landed. I'd say about 95% of the stuff that was meant to be funny was actually funny to me. I just love the humor. The little jokes like Pete Davidson's character needing help with his seatbelt, and TDK helping him and saying, okay, now you're safe. John Cena's Peacemaker talking about buttholes, or eating a beach full of dicks if it was necessary to preserve freedom. Ratcatcher not knowing what an overhead projector is. There's little jokes like that throughout the movie that made me laugh. They're original and unexpected. It's not the obvious humor. I did find myself chuckling throughout. Also, they weren't scared to go really dark with the humor, like having death as a punchline. They did not hold back. The violence in this is extreme. It didn't cut away. This was a rated R movie not because it had too many F words or it barely missed that PG-13 rating. This was meant to be an R-rated movie, and it's over-the-top, fun movie violence on full display. I don't like violence in real life, but I do in movies, and it was inventive, it was revolting, and a lot of the times, even funny. Like Tarantino once said, violence is fun. Movie violence. The craft of movie making was on full display here. James Gunn and his team have a very unique artistic vision that I just love. The music was all perfect. You can tell that they picked the songs very carefully. It's not jarring like in the first movie, or meant to sell a soundtrack, even though I think I want to buy the soundtrack because it was just great. I especially love the Pixies montage, and the scene with Kay Flay's Can't Sleep playing. Really just beautiful. The acting was good. I can't say there was any weak acting by anybody. Even the actors for the secondary characters did a great job. Not one person in this movie was slacking on the acting. The cinematography was great. Just a beautiful movie. Like, a movie that didn't have a right to be this beautiful. Just excellent directing, excellent camera work. Visually, this movie is just amazing. And every frame holds your attention. And the special effects were good. There was a lot of silly stuff on display, like a giant starfish, but you really felt the weight of it. And never did any of the special effects take me out of the movie by looking too fake. I mean, at one point, there was just a floating pair of underwear. Just great special effects. I really liked the Suicide Squad as a team. I loved the first group. They were very funny, interesting, and weird. I was bummed when they all died, thinking the second group wouldn't be as fun, but I was wrong. I especially liked Ratcatcher 2, played by Daniela Melchior. She was my favorite part of the movie. Going in, I didn't even realize there was going to be a character named Ratcatcher in this. Definitely overlooked her when I saw the trailer. She didn't make an impression, but I liked everything about her. Her very weird power, which kind of made me roll my eyes at first, thinking, like, how is that useful, controlling rats? But it was actually very handy, very clever writing. I loved that she just, wanted to sleep all the time. Definitely identified with that. And that damn James Gunn managed to do it again, where I get teary-eyed during a silly-ass movie full of silly-ass characters. Really liked the twist on the whole daddy issues thing. She didn't miss her dad because he wasn't there. She missed him because he was a good man. Really, really liked Taika Waititi's small part in this. I went into this movie expecting Bloodsport, played by Idris Elba, to be an even lamer version of Deadshot, but I was completely wrong. I really liked his character, mainly because of Idris Elba, because he's just a guy. He's a guy that can shoot really well. He's a great military tactician. He's tough. Idris Elba actually looked very, very jacked in this. He really does look intimidating. And his guns were cool enough. But I really like the way they wrote his character, where he starts out pretty much like an asshole, but he has genuine growth throughout the movie. He does become a leader. His inner father comes out with the Ratcatcher 2. By the end of it, his own daughter sees that he's actually a good man. And while they don't show it in the movie, you know that they're probably going to make up. I really hope they make a sequel to this, because I want to see more of the Bloodsport character. Another surprise was Peacemaker by John Cena. I gotta admit, John Cena is a really good actor. He's probably not going to be doing any Shakespeare, but he's perfect for this. He was very funny, great comedic timing, and he was also intimidating. Very impressed with John Cena overall with this. Now, I did have a feeling I was going to like Polka-Dot Man, played by Dastmalchian, because I like that actor in everything he pops up in. He looks like a total creep. I'm sure he's the nicest guy in real life, but he's just very interesting to watch. And I like that they put a character in here that actually has like suicidal thoughts in a movie called The Suicide Squad. I think it was interesting to write a character that's bullied about his powers, that's very insecure, that has mother issues, well-deserved mother issues. Maybe they went a little over the top with him seeing everybody as his mother, like when he wants to kill them, which is funny, but I think they did it 2 or 3 times too many. I think once or twice would have been enough to not kill the joke, but that's a very small nitpick. When I first saw King Shark in the trailers, I didn't like it too much. It reminded me of Killer Croc from the original, and I was like, okay, here we go. Another monster character that's going to be stupid. But I actually liked King Shark. They used him sparingly. His CGI looked good. I liked that he was kind of fat and dumb. He was just funny. And the violence with him was insane. Again, they just didn't hold anything back with the violence. And I liked King Shark more than I expected. James Gunn is very, very good at dealing with these bizarre characters. The returning character I was the most surprised about was definitely Rick Flag. I really did not like him in the original. I thought he was the most boring character. I hated his accent. I didn't like the actor. Didn't like anything about Rick Flag in the first one. But in this one, he was one of my favorite characters. They wrote him well. He almost felt like a school teacher dealing with a bunch of dumb children. And by the end of the movie, he wants to do the right thing. And of course, Peacemaker stops him and kills him. And he had a really great death scene that really hit. I felt bad when Rick Flag died. Very surprised by that. Harley Quinn, once again, had very great design. Her costume at the beginning, the red and black kind of like tactical uniform, looked very good. It looked realistic. Well, realistic enough for Harley Quinn. And like something that she would actually wear to go into a combat mission, right? It's not booty shorts, even though I don't mind the booty shorts. I really like the design of the original. But this one looks like Harley Quinn. Where like, say, in the Birds of Prey movie, she looked good too, but if that was the first time we're seeing Harley Quinn on the big screen, my first thought would be, wow, they made her look nothing like Harley Quinn. So I like the design of her in this. And Margot Robbie's acting was good. It's a very, very hard character to play with that silly accent. And she's just kind of nuts, right? It's not an easy character to play. I can't imagine anybody that would do a better job. She's not that deep of a character. She's not a feminist icon or a deep thinker. She's just a crazy ass chick that's trying to get through whatever situation she's in. And that's pretty much it. And I liked how they portrayed her craziness a little bit when she was killing all those guys and she's just looking at it as all these little flowers coming out of them. It's a nice visual way to let you know she's kind of nuts without just telling you. Something I don't like, though, that they did with her is that she's just a human. She's not super powered. And a few times she did do stuff that's just not possible. Like where she wraps her legs around a guy's neck, pulls herself up by the chain, not only her own body weight, but the body weight of this very large man that looks to weigh about 260 pounds. So you're trying to tell me Harley Quinn can just curl nearly 400 pounds? That took me out of it. And there was a couple times where she does these jumps, which is just not possible. Those might have been the only 2 times where it kind of just took me out of the movie. Again, very small nitpicks. I like that there wasn't just this one villain that was just evil to be evil, because reality is more complicated than that. We have a dictatorship, we have a mad scientist, we have an intergalactic starfish kaiju, with the twist that in reality they're all backed by the American government, and Peacemaker is there to make sure nobody finds out. So there isn't just one guy that you could point to that's the bad guy. And it's not just so black and white. Unexpected in a movie like this. So yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed The Suicide Squad. Infinitely better than the original. Better than any of the other DC movies. I would say it's the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. I think it's better than most Marvel movies. I just really enjoyed it, and I hope it does really well because I want a sequel and I want more movies like it. I want the studios to take more chances on crazy out there stuff like this. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this movie a 9.5. It was near perfect to me.